So, Adam, as our legal expert, just asking for a friend, what is the statute of limitations for, going to beat around the bush here a little bit, for maybe some sort of action where there is maybe a entry to a place that isn't necessarily yours, and maybe you want something that's not yours and you're going to take it with you anyway? Is there a statute of limitations on something of that nature?
Just to get a crystal clear detail that's ironed out with Murr, you said entry into a place. We entered into something that was outside of the place. And by we, I mean it's the friend that asked for this.
Yes. Yeah, just asking for a friend, of course. Just asking for a friend. If that were to happen, if someone were to enter a place outside of a place to get something that was not a part of their own place, is there a statute of limitations on that?
Well, what you're describing would be called burglary. And at least in Maryland, there is no statute of limitations on burglary. Okay. And sort of interesting point that Wes's friend raised about whether you actually have to go into a place or not. Traditionally, burglary, you have to actually go into a dwelling, right? But law has since expanded that to be any sort of structure, or even, for instance, in Maryland, second-degree burglary is defined as entering into what's called a storehouse, and that can include sheds and boats and other sorts of things, and even
large coolers.
Yeah, even as far as a bicycle shed. So it's pretty broad, and no statute of limitations on that. So tell your friend to lay low.
Hold on. So when you say burgle, give us like a clear cut definition. Anything over or stolen any property, even if it's as of no value.
Well, actually, you don't even have to steal anything to commit burglary, as long as you have the intent to steal something. So you show up, you break into somebody's house because you think they have a bunch of diamonds, and it turns out they don't have any. You still committed burglary, even though you didn't take anything.
Okay, now what if it is an open gazebo, for example? Okay, so it's not actually inside of something that's locked up that you actually have to physically break into. What if it's just sitting ripe for the taking, but it's not on your property?
Well, I don't think that would be burglary then. There are cases where, for instance, if you were to, let's say, break into an amusement park or hop a fence into a farm or something like that and take something off the property, that's not burglary. But let's say you were to break into an amusement park and then bust into It's a Small World and start taking little statues or whatever, the little miniatures they have, then that's burglary, because you cross the line into entering or breaking into some sort of structure that holds something, as opposed to just trespassing on the property.
All right, let's pull on this thread a little further. What about Clark Griswold from the original Vacation movie, where they broke into Wally World and they didn't steal anything, but they just rode the ride? Besides the kidnapping of John Candy, of course, what would there...
That's trespassing.
Okay, so that's just trespassing. Because, technically they didn't take anything of value, but then again, the amusement park does charge for rides, so are they not stealing monetary value off of just utilizing the roller coasters without paying to use them?
No, I don't think so. And I'd have to see which rides they actually went into. It might be a little bit different if it was an indoor ride as opposed to like a roller coaster, because you're entering into some sort of structure. But I doubt that it's like a case would actually turn on that sort of fact. It's really about the intent. It's also about the intent to steal something. So if you're just breaking in, and you're not actually planning to take any property, then you could argue that that's not burglary either. It's just trespassing.
Well, I kind of want to run with this Wally World thing. So now, presumably, amusement park rides are not, there's a a process to operation. You know, I'm sure they don't just hire fucking Jim Bob for Hershey Park and he comes in and just starts whacking at the fucking roller coasters. I'm pretty
Hershey
sure.
Park was a bad example because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they do.
Jim Bob hit start, and Jim Bob hit stop.
I'm sure they sent him in front of an old Dell PC, and they watch some training videos about how to set the roller coaster in motion and then stop it. Presumably, the Griswolds don't have such training. Are they liable for damages to the rides that they potentially damaged by misoperating?
Yeah, they definitely would be liable for that.
Gotcha. Yep. Things to think
Yeah,
about.
no, I'm just thinking about this training video that the folks are getting at the Hershey Park, where there's some animated Hershey's Kiss, like, all right, folks, you're gonna pull the lever to the left, not the right. But we had this when we were having this overall discussion a few months back. We were discussing liquor and beer and things of that nature. If I stole, asking for a friend. If a friend of mine stole a bottle of like high-end whiskey, like I don't know, Rip Van Winkle, right? Are they responsible for the actual value of the bottle as it sits on the shelf, or are they responsible for the value that the bar could sell it at? Because, like, you know, a bottle, I can't remember how much you said a bottle went for. We'll say $250, but they charge $50 a shot, and there's what, I don't know, we'll say 20 shots in there, which would multiply how much that bottle is worth to the person who owned it originally. So would you be responsible for the price of the bottle at market value, or would you be responsible for the price of the overall profits of the bottle?
You would be responsible for whatever the retail value is. You know, for instance, if you shoplifted, let's say, like clothes from a department store or something, you know, asking for a friend, then you wouldn't go back and say, okay, well, all right, you know, Nordstrom's, what did you pay the manufacturer for that? Oh, okay, no, I'll go one step further back. Hey, manufacturer, how much did it cost you to make that thing? You know, what did you pay the sweatshop workers over in China to make that? Oh, okay, well, I only stole $5, you know. So it would be the retail value of it.
Actually sounds like a good risk reward on a bottle of Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah. Asking for a friend. If said things that had been stolen outside of this place were then stolen by a third party, and an inconsequential amount was stolen from what you had originally, or my friend had stolen, would there be any grounds to have that person arrested for any type of theft, third-party theft of the original thievers?
Well, you can't. Well,
am I getting too deep into the thievery game to where you should just shut the fuck up?
I'm trying to think this through here. So, if you have stolen property, you can't. You could potentially charge them with larceny or robbery or burglary, depending on how the third party stole it from your friend. But you could definitely charge that next stealer with possession of stolen property or something like that.
Okay. Wow. I think my friend was like 18 or 19, so he didn't have the wherewithal to do such a thing. But now it's good to know.
Yeah. And I think one more in this whole realm of speech. So asking for a friend, if a friend was to say consume something that was taken by another friend, and the person consuming what was the other friend took, and they knowingly, they're aware that what they're consuming was in fact taken forcibly, does the person consuming what was taken, are they then in like an accessory of any kind?
Sounds like a sexual thing to me. I don't know and not only did you not specify whatever it is that's being consumed, which could be damn near anything, knowing your friend. I was also very unclear on who was consuming what and where it had been. So you may want to run that one by me again.
Okay, I think we've got our answer that we need. Okay, second question.